Mr. Jarecki, is so pleased to talk to you about this wonderful and important film. Let me start by saying that I was amazed by how you combine the social, the political themes or topics with action and the entertainment value to meet that part of the business, but at the same time to create awareness or promote the conversation. This was this always your goal, and how did you manage not to forget or overshadow one over the other?
Well, thank you, Felix. It's a pleasure to be here talking with you. Yeah, I love the films. I really like thriller films, and I like these films also that take a look at something from many viewpoints. So, we have great films like Babel or Traffic, 21
Hmm.
Grams, even LA Confidential or Michael Clayton. you know and what are they? They're entertainment, they're thrillers, but at the same time, they peel back a layer on something.
Hmm.
I tried to do that in my last film Arbitrage a bit with the
Yep.
financial crisis. We had Richard Gere as a billionaire, his whole world going wrong. But here I wanted to take a look at this aspect from all sides, and I thought, you have these three compelling characters, Jake, Claire, and Tyrone, and equally compelling actors. And we wanted to see how do we tell the tale of opioids, but make it personal, right?
Hmm.
So we put them all in crisis, so to speak, where they are characters, everyday characters, but they find themselves in extraordinary circumstances and they're pushed to the edge. We have Gary Oldman as a scientist, a biologist. He's working for a drug company. He's also a professor, and he sees something he can't keep quiet about. He's got to blow the whistle on a danger he perceives. We have the police side,
Yeah.
where we're investigating illicit trafficking, and we're trying to set up a big bust. And then we have Evangeline's side, the personal side, where how are people affected by these drugs?
Hmm.
What do they do to them, even if they get into it through no fault of their own? As regular everyday citizens who get a pain prescription, and all of a sudden, they're before they know it, they're addicted and their life's going wrong. So I think it was a challenge to put these different tales together. But
Okay.
that's where I go to the actors. I have wonderful actors, Greg Kinnear, Michelle Rodriguez, Lily Rose Depp. I mean, Luke Evans. You got Veronica Ferris, a wonderful, and Kid Cudi, an
Yeah.
embarrassment of
Yeah.
riches. I just called everyone I knew or had ever met. I said, "You got to come down. I'm doing the movie. I got no money for you. It's very cold, but I need your help." And they were there. They helped.
That was my next question, actually. How do you, while you're writing the script for a film, are you thinking on this specific actor for this or that character, or that comes naturally while in the negotiating process with the studio, and that how do you manage to get the actors that you want for this character?
Well, I think you have an idea in mind of who is the character and what do they like. But what I've learned with film is very elastic.
Hmm.
You can do things in different ways, and it's a kind of alchemical process where there's a magic that occurs. What you really need is you need people who are passionate and who want to join you in the journey. So, for instance, Gary Oldman is the first person I gave the screenplay to, and I saw him pretty clearly in my mind. I met him, I gave him the script, and boom, he was in right away. And not only that, he said, "I'll produce the movie with you, help
Yeah.
you get the film made, and you can attract the other cast." So then it becomes a question of, who shares your passion for this type of material, who feels they could play that character in a good way. And you explore different ideas, but ultimately it's, my father likes to say there's a great personnel office in the sky. When you're doing something, it opens up and boom, the right person walks in and you go, "Oh my God, it's her. We don't, that's it. It's her." And it's true. The right person appears.
Okay, so thank you for that. Also, I was impressed by how the subject of accountability or assuming responsibilities is presented from different optics or from different perspectives. Tell me a little bit about how it was for you to work with this subject in all the main three most important stories while you were writing the script. Because to me, this was like the common thread among the three stories.
Well, somebody said once that, there are no villains, right? Everybody is the hero of their own story. So I thought it would be very easy to point the finger at pharmaceutical executives and say, "Oh, they're bad," or these
Hmm.
drug traffickers. But what I try to do is I try to cast actors that are really sympathetic. So even if they're in the darker role, you know, you see Greg Kinnear here, and he's pulled in different directions.
Yep.
Is he supporting Oldman? Is he against him? You know, but you want to cast someone who breaks your heart and who you can identify with, because that is to explore what is moral responsibility, what is accountability.
Yep.
You know, we all make choices every day. So you don't have to be a biologist or an undercover cop or a person on a mission of vengeance to enjoy this movie. You know, you're going to make choices in your office today about doing the right thing. You know, do you cut a little bit at the corners here, or do you try to live a more honorable life? And I think that's what appealed to me about this story, showing these everyday characters who find themselves in extraordinary situations, and then they're forced to look in the mirror and see what they're made of and how far are they willing to go for what's right. I think hopefully this film expresses some light, and it encourages people to be more aware of these issues. You know, not to treat people who have addiction problems
Exactly.
as enemies. You know, but to understand these are our brothers and sisters. We
Exactly.
love them. We want them to be better. We want corporations to. We still want them to make pharmaceuticals. We need pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Well, otherwise we're gonna not live as long. But it's got to be done responsibly. You
It
know,
isn't.
and so
It
yes.
is interesting because in arbitrage you also explored wealth from a different from another perspective. What do you find fascinating about white collar crime, or delving into the negative aspects of people with money and wealth or power?
Well, I think the philosopher Balzac once said, "Behind every great fortune lies a great crime." And
Oh.
I love this idea, you know, that you know the profit motive or the greed motive oftentimes really can twist people's moral perspectives. So you know, sitting down and thinking, how do I help people in pain? I'm a corporation. That's a great idea. Let's do that. But then how do I sell it to the doctors, and how do I tell them it's safe and maybe it isn't? How do I put this study to the side and not look at that? You know, when the money comes in, and we also go, oh, we got to get the money. We got to get
Yeah,
the money. You know, forget all that other stuff. And here
you're
we
right.
see with opioid thing, you know, before we were with Richard Gere in the financial crisis, okay, people lost the money. Here, people lost their lives. You know, there's plenty of blood on the floor. So this is something where we can't play in the same way. And we've got to look in the mirror and take some responsibility for what's happening.
All right, so Mr. Jarecki, thank you so much. This is a wonderful film. I was impressed also by the acting, by how you create these characters that made us believe in their frustration in the case of Gary's and Army's characters, and the pain in the Evangeline's characters. So thank you so much for this important film, and stay safe wherever you are. So thank you.
Thank you, Felix. A pleasure to talk to you. I appreciate you watching.
Gracias.